Guys, thank you for stopping by to share with Julie today. I hope you're having a fantabulous day today, guys. In this video, I'm going to look at some of the reasons why you probably aren't seeing the results that you would like when you have started taking the herbs. And there could be a number of reasons for this, and we will just look at a few of them, a few of the really important ones. Firstly, is have you changed your diet? Honestly, ask yourself this: am I consuming foods that will help the healing process? Because sometimes we depend on the herbs and we expect the herbs to just do the job, and we're not changing the diet, we're not eating the foods that we need to help the healing process. The diet that will help and has been proven to be effective where it concerns healing is a plant-based diet. You want a diet that is rich in fruits, vegetables, your green juices, for example, high water content fruits. You want to hydrate the body, so you want to be drinking proper water, and of course, high water content fruits are always the best way to hydrate the body. So, those are some things to consider. The second is the herbal preparation. For example, some persons might infuse, say you're doing teas, you might infuse the tea for 5 minutes. You get more from the tea if you infuse it for 15 or 20 minutes, because the longer it stays in that hot water, the more of the healing properties are pulled from the tea. Likewise, tinctures might be best for you. Tinctures might work well for you also in some instances, because tinctures, different solvent pull different properties from the herbs sometimes. And you may find that you may want to combine sometimes. You might take some capsules, you might have some teas, some tinctures, maybe sometimes do some compresses. So also look at maybe doing more, you know, maybe not just doing only teas, but maybe adding some capsules to that, or maybe adding a tincture to that, or maybe some compresses or poultices, for example, you know. And sometimes you just have to double up, because if you have a skin condition, for example, say you're dealing with psoriasis and you're taking the herbs internally, it also helps if you're able to have some baths and, you know, wash the skin with the herb, or have some herbal formula with some of the juices from the herb to rub on the skin. That would also help to accelerate the healing process. So look at maybe doing more if you can. The third thing I would say is the quality of the herb. That can be an issue. Sometimes the herbs are not harvested properly and they are not prepared properly. And what we find is that some herbs, they have to be used fresh. And so if you buy these herbs at the market, online, wherever you buy them, they're not fresh. These are not fresh herbs that you're getting, and maybe the preparation process was not so that the herb retains as much of its healing properties as possible. And so that is something to also take into consideration. There are, for example, if someone see fucus, that is the bladderwrack, wash up on the shores of the sea, they might take that and say, okay, I'm going to use that. But that will not be nearly as effective as taking the live bladder rock off the rock and, you know, drying it in a particular way and using it. Um, So that is something else to consider. There are some herbs, for example, like Cascara sagrada, the aged bark. It is, the more it ages, the more potent it becomes. That is not so for some herbs. So also we have to look at the particular herbs that we're using in question and the preparation of those herbs. Another thing to consider, this is the fourth point, is the right herbs. Are you using the right herb for the condition at hand? And I say this because different herbs have different properties. There are alterative herbs, for example, and alteratives work on the entire system. And whenever you're approaching healing, you always want to have some alteratives in your formula. These include herbs like burdock, yellow dock, red clover. These are just some examples of alterative herbs, but they will also have specific actions also, and there are other herbs that will work, even though they might work on the system, the whole entire system, to lesser degrees. They might work on specific areas of the body. For example, eye bright, very good for the eyes. For example, bilberry is also good for the eyes. It will target, so you want to, if you're addressing issues to do with your eyes, you want herbs that are traditionally used or have been scientifically proven to address issues of the eyes. If you're dealing with, for example, your liver and your kidney, you want something like the dandelion and mistletoe, for example. Skin, you want your burdock, you want your chickweed. And these are some things that we need to take into consideration. The herbs that I'm using, will these address my specific issues? Also, we want to look at the time. This is the fifth point, the time frame. How long have you been using the herbs? Sometimes we want results too really, really quickly. Sometimes, and it's not always the case. Some herbs you may see results quicker than others. Some, it's over time. It's over time of using it that you see the change begin to manifest itself. So don't be in a hurry. Well, it's easier said than done, I know, when you're dealing with health issues. But sometimes you have to give the herb time to work. And the other point I will say is, have you cleansed the body? Before you embark on any, herbal protocol, I would say do a cleanse. You want to cleanse your bowel. Cleanse your bowel, do a colon cleanse, get the lymph moving. You want your lymphatic system. You want all your channels of elimination to be working properly. And we can do this by easing into the diet. If you're coming from a standard diet, maybe standard American diet, which would involve a lot of meat, processed foods, dairies, for example, you may want to start with some whole food, introducing more whole foods in the diet and improving on that. And then you want to, of course, do a cleanse, do a parasite cleanse, deworm, clean the colon, get the lymph moving, the kidneys filtering, do your deep breathing and things like these. Also, another point that is we often neglect or don't look at is, are we stressed? Whenever we are ill, we are in a state of stress. There are psychological stress, physical stress, emotional stress, and illnesses often bring that physical stress on the body. But are we stressed? What are we dealing with? Are you sleeping? These are things that we must take into consideration, because the body, everything that happens in the body is some form of chemical reaction, and so is stress. And if we are stressed, that can affect us negatively. It can affect the functioning of our organs negatively. It will affect us sleeping. And sleeping is extremely important. It's an important part of the healing process. And usually, for most people, if they are very stressed, they don't sleep, and vice versa. So, these are things to consider. And all of these, I'm going to end it now. I'm not going to add any more to the list. But all of these, it goes back to number one: change the diet. Because if you're doing the diet and the herbs, you find that you will lessen the physical stress on the body. And you find that the food, when you're eating foods that will alkalize the body, foods that will aid the body in eliminating waste, for example, it's easier, or the body is more capable of dealing with stress. And so, these are just some of the things to consider if you are not seeing the results from the herbs as you would like. I don't know, maybe I have missed them. If you guys can think of any that I have missed, you can let me know down below, and maybe I could touch on that at another time, guys. I hope you found this useful. Subscribe to my channel, like and share my videos, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed already. Share my videos. Most importantly, don't forget, be the change you'd like to see in this world. Have a fantabulous day today. Ta-ta. Ta-ta.